All right. Yes. I think this is works. After a little bit of messing around and having things work the way it isn't supposed to work, we're here. I believe we are live on YouTube. Yes, awesome, cool. So
Recording.
it's good to have everyone here. We are recording. We're live. It is Monday night. Welcome back to another edition of our stay-at-home open mic. My name is Richie Marrufo. I'm the project director of the Barbed Wire Open Mic Series. We are located out of El Paso, Texas, and we have this show, which is called the Stay-at-Home Open Mic. We have plenty of people joining us today to share some of their writing, their poetry, maybe some of their music. And of course, yeah, if you're watching, we definitely encourage you guys to participate by saying hello in the live chat. I'll be there monitoring the room. Today is also a really great day because I get to sit back, work more on the tech side of things, and hand over the wheel to or hand over the reins to Kit Wren, who's going to be our host today. Really looking forward to that. So, yeah, what I want to say, the online mic is just a place where we can get together, hang out, and share some work. Pretty much, it's a platform. As always, I encourage you guys to share your social media, any links that for upcoming events, workshops, or of course where people can purchase your books or watch you on YouTube, Instagram, whatever. Even if you've been doing it a million times, because I know you guys have, right? The chances are you might have some new peeps. Anyway, we may have also had to do this on a different URL. Is that what happened? Uh, all right, so we'll get that taken care of. I'm gonna post the new link in the stream. I had the weirdest experience right now trying to go live, but anyway, we're here. We are live streaming now, and we're gonna go ahead and hand it over to Kit to kick things off, and then we got a great open mic for you guys. Peace. Thanks for tuning in. Kit, go ahead and take it away, man. Appreciate you.
Thank you, Richie. Had a few little hiccups, but nevertheless, the sun has made its way to its home in the western sky, and it is Monday night in El Paso. Gonna start off by continuing what I started last week, reading My Father Addresses Me on the Facts of Old Age by Grace Paley, part 2. I stopped by a couple weeks later. This time he was annoyed. Why'd you leave the kids at home? Well, if you keep doing this, they'll forget who I am. Children are like old people in that respect. They'll never forget you. Never in a million years. Oh, you think so? Well, God has not been so good about a million years. His main interest in us began. Actually, he put it down in writing. 5,700 years ago in the book. You know our book, I suppose? Okay, yes. Probably a million years is too close to his lifetime, if you could call it life, what he goes through. I believe he said several times when he was still in contact with us, I am a jealous God. Here and there, he makes an exception. I read there are 3,000-year-old trees somewhere in some godforsaken place. Of course, that's how come they're still alive. We should all be so godforsaken. And no more joking around. I've been thinking what to tell you now. First of all, soon, maybe in 20, 30 years, you'll begin to get up in the morning, 4, 5 a.m. And a farmer, that's okay. But for us, you'll remember everything you didn't, what you omitted, who you insulted, betrayed. Oh, that is the worst. Do you remember you didn't go see your aunt? She was dying. That will be on your mind like a stone. Of course, I myself did not behave so well. Still, I was so busy those days. Long office hours. Remember, it was usual in those days for doctors to make house calls. No elevators, 4th floor, 5th floor, even in a nice Bronx tenement. But this morning, a few hours ago, my mother, your babushka, came into my mind, looked at me. I told you I was arrested? Of course I did. I was arrested a few times. But this time, for some reason, the policeman walked me past the office of the local jail. My mama was there. I saw her through the window. She was bringing me a bundle of clean clothes, and she put it on the officer's table. She turned, she saw me, she looked at me through the glass with such a face, eye to eye, despair, no hope. This morning, 4 a.m., I saw once more how she sat there, very straight, her eyes. Because of that look, I did my term, my sentence, the best I could. I finished up 6 months in Archangos, where they finally sent me. Then no more. No more, I said to myself. No more saving Imperial Russia, the great pogrom maker from itself. Oh, don't make too much out of everything. Well, anyway, I want to tell you also how the body is your enemy. I must warn you, it is not your friend the way it was when you were a youngster. For example, greens, believe me, overrated. Some people believe they will cure cancer. It's the style. My experience with maybe 100 patients proves otherwise. Greens are helpful to God. That fellow Sandberg, the poet, I believe from Chicago, he explained it. Grass tiptoes over the whole world, holds it in place. Except the desert. Everything there is loose, flying around. How come you bring up God so much? When I was a kid, you were a strict atheist. You even spat on the steps of the synagogue. Well, God is very good for conversation, he said. By the way, I believe I have to tell you a few words about the stock market. Your brother-in-law is always talking about how brilliant he is. Investing. My advice to you, stay out of it. People are making money. Read the paper. Even kids are becoming millionaires. Well, what a tomorrow, he asked. Tomorrow, I said? They'll make another million. No. I mean tomorrow. I was there when tomorrow came in 1929. So I say to them in their millions, ha ha ha. Tomorrow will come. Go home now. I have a great deal more to tell you. Somehow I'm always tired. I'll go in a minute, but I have to tell you something, Paul. I had to tell him that my husband and I were separating, maybe even divorced, the first in the family. What? Are you crazy? I don't understand you people nowadays. I married your mother when I was a boy. It's true I had a first-class mustache, but I was a kid. And, I stayed married till the end. Once or twice, she wanted to part company, but not me. The reason, of course, she was inclined to be jealous. He then gave the example I'd heard 5 or 6 times before. What it was, one time 2 couples went to the movies. Ours a mix and his wife, you remember. Well, I sat next to his wife, the lady of the couple. By the way, a very attractive woman. And during the show, which wasn't so great, we talked about this and that. And we laughed a couple times. And when we got home, your mother said, okay, anytime you want. Right now, I'll give you a divorce. We will go our separate ways. Naturally, I said, what? Are you ridiculous? My advice to you, stick it out. It's true, your husband, he's a peculiar fellow. But think it over. Go home. Maybe you can manage at least till old age. Then if you don't get along, you can go to separate old age homes. It's no joke. It's my life. It is a joke. A joke is necessary at this time. But I'm tired. You'll see. 30, 40 years from now, you'll get tired off. It doesn't mean you're sick. It's just something important that I'm telling you. Listen, to live a long time, long years, you've got to sleep a certain extra percentage away. It's a shame. To be continued. So, welcome to the stay-at-home open mic.
Wow.
Brought to you by the Barbed Wire Open Mic Series. And we are come to you live from all over the place. So we are based in El Paso, and we'll have a lot of different people from all over the world. And our first stop is going to be up in Denver, up in the mountains, where a friend of ours, Mr. Michael Sindler, makes his way. and we always love hearing from him. He usually opens, and we'll be happy to have him open again. Take the mic when you're ready, Mike.
Okay, hey everybody. Oh man, that was pretty damned amazing. I'm going to start with a new piece I wrote yesterday in a workshop. It's called "For the Zoot Suit Rioters, August 1942, with thanks to Sandy Shakes," who was the presenter of the workshop. If they cannot make your skin illegal, if they cannot make your soul illegal, if they cannot make your history, your community, your very being against the law, they will attack your culture. They will attack your style, make the utter utterance of what you are, your shield and armor, your bright costume of pride, a crime. They will beat you down and chain you. They will push you into cells, overcrowded with your innocent, elegant brothers, make you pay for not being them, make you suffer for the color of your skin, make you all too aware that you are not to be you, that you are not to be here, though you were here long before. If they cannot find cause, they will create it. Give false witness to contain you in cages, to contain you in the barrio when the cells are full and make the streets a prison yard. They will make it as hard as they are able for as long as they hold power, for as long as they fear darkness, for as long as they cannot understand the freedom folded and stitched into your zoot suit. Okay, and now a lot of people here have heard this, but I'm doing this for all the people out there in Zoom world, in YouTube world. A lot of us are familiar with the tragedy that happened, and luckily he is okay, as well as possible, never be the same, but survived at any rate. And so in honor, I'm going to read a little excerpt from The Ground Beneath Her Feet by Salman Rushdie. Disorientation is loss of the East. Ask any navigator. The East is what you sail by. Lose the East and you lose your bearings, your certainties, your knowledge of what is and what may be, perhaps even your life. Where was that star you followed to that manger? That's right. The East orients. That's the official version. The language says so, and you should never argue with the language. But let's just suppose, what if the whole deal, orientation, knowing where you are, and so on, what if it's all a scam? What if all of it, home, kinship, the whole enchilada, is just the biggest, most truly global and centuries oldest piece of brainwashing? Suppose that it's only when you dare to let go that your real life begins, when you're whirling free of the mothership, when you cut your rope, slip your chain, step off the map, go absent without leave, scram, vamoose, whatever. Suppose it's then, and only then, that you're actually free to act, to lead the life nobody tells you how to live or when or why, in which nobody orders you to go forth and die for them or for God, or comes to get you because you broke one of the rules, or because you're one of those people who are, for reasons which unfortunately can't be given, simply not allowed. Suppose you've got to go through the feeling of being lost into the chaos and beyond. You've got to accept the loneliness, the wild panic of losing your moorings, the vertiginous terror of the horizon spinning round and round like the edge of a coin tossed in the air. You won't do it. Most of you won't do it. The world's head laundry is pretty good at washing brains. Don't jump off that cliff. Don't walk through that door. Don't step into that waterfall. Don't take that chance. Don't step across that line. Don't ruffle my sensitivities. I'm warning you now. Don't make me mad. You're doing it. You're making me mad. You don't have a chance. You haven't got a prayer. You're finished. You're history. You're less than nothing. You're dead to me, dead to your whole family, your nation, your race, everything you ought to love more than life and listen to like your master's voice and follow blindly and bow down before and worship and obey. You're dead. You hear me? Forget about it, you stupid bastard. I don't even know your name. But just imagine you did it. You stepped off the edge of the earth or through the fatal waterfall. And there it was, the magic valley at the end of the universe, the blessed kingdom of the air, great music everywhere. You breathe the music in and out. It's your element now. It feels better than belonging in your lungs. Vina was the first of us to do it. Ormus jumped second, and I, as usual, brought up the rear. And we can argue all night about why. Did we jump or were we pushed? But you can't deny we all did it. We three kings of disorient were. And I'm the only one who lived to tell the tale. Thank y'all.
Wow. Thank you, Michael, for that impassioned reading. And we share your thankfulness that Rusty's on the road to recovery. Is there any events you have going on, anywhere you want to shout out before we move on?
Just to put out the usual, lighthouseriders.org. Again, for all you people out there in YouTube land who may not know yet, such a wonderful, incredible resource. Can't recommend highly enough to check it out. Thank y'all.
All right. And that, of course, was one of our beacons, Michael Sindler. And coming up next, this mic is worldwide. This mic goes out on a grand scale, but also it goes out on a very small scale sometimes. So instead of going to Timbuktu or Barcelona, we're going just down the hall to where Robin Scofield is set up. So Robin, when you're ready.
Okay, thank you. I'm going to read a couple of poems from my book Flow, and they're all kind of depressing, I have to say. The first one's about a volcano. The second one's about global warming, and etc. So this one is called Pyroclastic Flow from Mount Vesuvius in Herculaneum, 79 Common Era. And the more famous town from this explosion was Pompeii, of course. Hot ash descends on the village of no descendants. A ladle left on the table, stew bubbling on the stove, the wine swirled self-similar to lava in its own hillside story, the pulse of the crowd as it beats toward shore, one mother's bent vertebrae over the half-formed bones inside her, and her arms around a child's skeleton under the arches by the sea. Okay, and this one is about what happens when the Gulf Stream stops flowing. Shape of flow in the Gulf Stream. A river of warm water between two banks of colder ocean, spins and eddies northward from the coasts of Florida, wind-driven gyres bringing the breezes that flowed through palms and crepe myrtle to shores of Northwest Europe, their infinite fractal stretch, more temperate for the Gulf Stream, more water than all the rivers combined, the global conveyor belt, which when it slows, due to a melting Greenland, will change the water's density, and that affects decreased upwelling, fewer nutrients, and downwelling, less oxygen. The ocean's balance spoilt, Europe's temperature at first a fever, and when the current stops flowing, there's more than a chill in the air of the fjords and beyond as the Arctic ice cap melts and we feel undercurrent in the swells of morning as less warm water flows south again. The thermal equator shifts south and rainfall follows, leaving drought behind when there is no more Gulf Stream flow. Okay, and this is the one of the few political poems in the book. It's about a revolution that was led by a poet, and it was singularly unsuccessful. In Budapest, 1848, before the siege. Perhaps the white stag of nationhood leads Sandor Potofi out of the garret where he writes out, then crumples up his dactylic yearnings by candlelight, or else a friend bursts in shouting, "The French have risen up and driven out Louis Philippe and proclaimed the Republic." The six-legged stag then gallops lip to lip and heralds a time of beautiful government. Folk flow into the streets, a restless river floods the parks and roars out the taboo liberal phrases. Free press, free speech, free assembly, no more secret police. Students abandon lectures on dead languages, craving wine barrels. Poets leave their desks to throng in the free air where res publica seems a thing within reach. The students belt on rapiers, whether for style or out of a sense of foreboding. No one now living can say. And that's my reading for tonight.
Oh, I really like that one. Although in defense of the poets of Hungary, they were not singularly unsuccessful. Everything in 1848.
Oh yeah, that's true. They were unsuccessful like everybody else, but they were. It seems like they were more unsuccessful. Yeah, the students were. Yeah, it was a bad ending.
I suppose.
Yeah. So.
Yes. Well. Do you have any events and so on to plug soon coming up?
Oh yes, I have. I am doing Tumble Words this Saturday. The Radical Amazement of Rainer Maria Rilke. And we're going to go over the new poems, 3 of the new poems. And then on the 27th, we're going to continue with Rainer Maria Rilke with the Sonnets to Orpheus. And we're going to do 3 of those, I think. So, and I'm going to be using all my own translations. So I want to brag a little bit about that.
Yeah.
I'm not sure they're perfect, but
they sound pretty together. Tumble Words with Robin Scofield, the poet laureate of Tumble Words, presenting on Rilke. Those sound like two afternoons where you must stay in. But we're not going to stay in. We're going to fly, in fact, all the way to Toronto. We've got our passports in order, and we're going to cross the border, and we're going to visit with our friend Jeff Cottrill and see what he has to offer us today. Jeff, when you're ready.
Okay, so I will give you a short story that was recently published. I hope I haven't done this one here before. It was recently published in this anthology, local anthology called Frontlines, Courage Without a Parachute. And it's called Not So Great Expectations. The first time I read Catcher in the Rye, Dana recalled as she sat back in the pub booth and took another sip of her Pinot Noir, I saw youth and insecurity in new ways, and also the hypocrisy of human nature. Even the language blew me away. The way Salinger made that kid come alive made me love books forever. She closed her eyes and smiled as Nathan watched her. He chomped on a buffalo wing as the overhead music switched from Lily Allen to Pink Floyd. She looked at him. He wasn't as dashing in real life as in his bestmatchpersonals.com pic, but looks weren't everything. What about you? She said. What about me? He mumbled, wiping his mouth on his sleeve. What's a book that opened you and changed you for good? He swallowed. A long pause followed. Well, Redneck Jim's Big-Ass Book of Blonde Jokes, Volume 9, he finally answered. Dana assumed he was kidding, and she chuckled. But Nathan didn't laugh. He picked up another wing. No, said Dana, I mean a real book. That's a real book. It's in my bathroom. No, not a joke book. I mean like a novel, Catcher in the Rye, or The Great Gatsby, or Great Expectations, or maybe a poetry collection, or even a collection of David Sedaris essays. Nathan thought about it for a few moments, then he swallowed. Nah, he said, I'm sticking with my answer. Dana sighed and looked down at the table. Don't you appreciate real art, Nathan? I mean, a proper book, something more deep and meaningful than a dumb joke book. Nathan put his wing back on the plate. He glared at her. Who are you, he said, to tell me what a proper book is? How can you suggest I can't get the same kind of magic from my book as you do from yours? I don't even know how you can even compare the two. Dana was tempted to laugh, but it felt inappropriate. Catcher is a classic, full of depth and honest emotion. It's resonated with readers for decades. Your book gives you a cheap laugh when you're on the toilet. Have you even read Catcher? Of course I have. My grade 11 English teacher forced me to. It's just some whiny, spoiled punk brat rambling on about how he hates everybody and everything. You're oversimplifying. Come on, why would anybody read it these days, even if it wasn't boring? Dana ground her teeth. She wished she just stayed home and watched Queen's Gambit. And what's so special about your joke book, Nathan, huh? Why pick a silly joke book over all the great works of literature? Nathan leaned back in his seat and squinted his eyes for a moment. Dana crossed her arms, hoping he was stumped, waiting to declare victory. Then he spoke, in a low, controlled tone that blindsided her. When I was a kid, he said, we didn't have much. No computer, no TV, no board games, just our tiny trailer with the necessities. Dad was always out at work and Mom was always bawling him out. My brothers were usually out goofing off, playing street hockey or whatever. I didn't have any real friends, so I was stuck at home, doing chores and listening to Mom and Dad fight. Nowhere to go, no one to turn to. Dana stared at him. One day, Nathan went on, I was outside watering the lawn when I heard this weird noise coming from next door. I saw our neighbor, Skid-Faced Sam. He was out on a lawn chair and laughing his ass off. Skid-Faced Sam was the poorest, ugliest, filthiest guy in the trailer park, and he was always miserable and grouchy, and everybody avoided him. This was the first time I'd ever seen him laughing, and it scared the hell out of me. Before I could get away, he spotted me and waved the book he was reading. Redneck Jim's Big-Ass Book of Blonde Jokes, Volume 3. He let me read a few of the jokes, and soon I was laughing harder than him. I'd never heard jokes like that before. The way Redneck Jim used such simple words to paint crazy pictures in my head. I'd never realized a book could do that. Skid-Faced Sam let me borrow Volume 1, and then 2 and 3 after that. Nathan paused. The series only went up to 3 at that time, you know. You don't say. That was when I became Skid-Face's best friend, his only friend. We sort of had our own little book club. Soon he stopped peeing in the trailer park's drinking fountain. Well, for a while anyway. And from then on, I was addicted to Redneck Jim, devoured every new volume of the Blonde Jokes, and also all 5 of Redneck Jim's sassy smorgasbord of Polish humor. Those books really made those hard times easier. Anytime I was upset or bored or just wanted to pack it all I needed was Redneck Jim to make everything better. Can you say that of your J.D. Salisbury? Salinger? Who cares? The point is, Redneck Jim said so much more to me in his silly joke books than your boring, whiny punk kid in Catcher in the Rye. Redneck Jim taught me that no matter how shitty life can get, you can still find reasons to laugh. Dana couldn't think of anything to say. He also taught me, said Nathan, that blondes are really, really stupid. She blinked, then she cleared her throat. Right, she said. Well, my late mother was a blonde, and she had a PhD in comparative literature, wrote 13 books, won awards. Nathan shrugged and went back to chomping on his now cold chicken wing. Dana stood up, put on her jacket, fetched a $20 bill from her purse, and slapped it on the table. I don't think this is going to work out, she said. Me neither. We're different. I guess we are. Without looking up from his plate, Nathan gave her a small wave using a greasy chicken bone. She rolled her eyes and left. It was early in the evening, although starting to get dark. Dana walked slowly down the avenue, peering into the shop windows and feeling more depressed with every happy-looking couple she passed. Holding hands, stealing little pecks on each other's cheeks, or just sharing a mutual, peaceful silence. A small independent bookshop caught her eye, and she stepped inside. This was exactly the kind of urban indie bookshop she loved, cramped, messy, disorganized, nearly empty of customers, and smelling like an old wooden house that hadn't been dusted in years. She started to look for the classics section when she passed the humor one. And there it sat, like a trap set for her. Redneck, and I'm going to read it as it's spelled, Redneck Jim's Knifty, Knutty Collection of Canuck jokes, Volume 7. She stared at the cover of the enormous tome, and a cartoon sketch of Redneck Jim stared back at her with brain-dead eyes and a shit-eating grin, with a front tooth missing. Huh, Dana said aloud. She picked up the book and flipped through the pages, opening to page 257 randomly. The first joke on the page read, Knock, knock, who's there? You're a who? You're a stupid loser, ha ha. Really, Nathan? This is your literary hero? The next one. Knock, knock. Who's there? Cow. Cow who? No, you're the cow because you're so fat. Ha ha. Dana flipped to the end of the book. Holy shit. There's actually 647 pages of this. She flipped back to the page she'd been on. One more, she decided, and then she'd put the book back. Knock, knock. Who's there? Your mom, and I just boned her good. Ha ha. Sorry, miss, said a voice. Dana's head jerked up to face the young man sitting behind the sales counter. Huh? I thought you said something. I didn't say anything. Actually, he added, it sounded more like a laugh. I didn't laugh, she said, blushing. Did I? She shook her head and turned back to the book. Last one, she told herself. She read another joke, and another, and kept on reading. So that was called Not So Great Expectations, and I just want to point out, I have a Zoom feature tomorrow night at Spofest Poetry and Prose, so I will put the link to the Facebook event page in the chat. I hope at least one or two or all of you can come out to that, also featuring with Timothy Gager as the guest author, and a couple of other folks whose names I forget, but that will be in the chat. So look for it. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Jeff. And congratulations on getting that in print.
Thanks.
You can now stand with the Titans like Redneck Jim. Congratulations.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah. It's what we all yearn for.
And very true. And coming up next, excuse me, our magnificent light rail system is going to take us all the way from El Paso to the Bay Area. And that is where our friend, with her very own empire of events like these, Phynne Belle lives. And we're going to visit with her and see what she has to say. Phynne.
Good evening, folks. Hi there. So I will just share two pieces. I hope I didn't share this last week. I really can't remember anymore. Okay, so I got this one out of Emily Cortez's a workshop with me. She did my last poetry games, which was about the mysteries of the tarot. So this is called Sword, Pentacle, Wand, Cup. Mother of enlightenment, I call upon you. Breathe wind into notion, make me lungs of burgeoning concept. Mother of cunning, I call upon you, nestle me safe. I simmer inside your womb. I am formed from the new root. Mother of ecstasy, I call upon you, rouse up tongues of flame. Resuscitate me, I am reborn. Mother of nourishment, I call upon you, summon all-seeing eyes, watch over us, cleanse and feed, banish our hungry realm. And then this one is called Where Truth Coats the Diaphragm, the Lips, the Ears. Apology on my lips is the first air pushed out. Please understand. Please understand it is weary, not confronting, not aggrieved. I will bother you to take time and hear, listen to these words, open up my lips. Even against my will, they disperse 1,000 spores airborne, touching and tickling noses, inhaled deeply. I want you to know them, commit them to memory as they are right now, before they become someone else's to digest, regurgitate, a chemical reaction in the transformation of their worth, their meaning the moment they force their way up the windpipe, gagging the throat to hasten release on their way rising. I have learned that truth becomes only what is revealed first, bold face captions, never what is unspoken, never what is waiting politely for its turn to speak out. I have learned the truth screams the loudest. It is never the quiet that is burden, kept in closed circles, passed around, whipped up to a dizzying speed, crashing back down. The weight, a yoke of opinion, forged in judgment, made culpable, so at the end, everyone's shoulders give up the fight, gradually sag. I have learned the truth is delectable. Court's scandal lingers and hugs the mouth, ready to fizz and spit. No wonder at all that no one wants to listen to the unpopular version. No one wants the residual grit, the boredom, the damning facts that gather and perish at the bottom. I have learned in all this while waiting, that the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth has escaped. Someone, anyone, catch it. Everyone playing it, volunteering, but no one caring to rise up. See what lines the edge of this cold metallic bone, move the laundered fluff aside to crane their neck and peer above the comfort of their perceptions. Assumption is the best weighted blanket. I heard a rumor there is a damning photo floating round, words disparate litter the cutting room floor, a call that could have happened but didn't. Did I miss anything in the frantic retelling? Why do you look at me askance? Why? Was there something more? I heard a rumor they believed everything they first imagined. They swore in their mind you promised something, said you led them behind you, knowing. I'm barely able to balance on the same cliff. See, I too plunged to follow. See, I joined the adoring queue. I heard a rumor. They fell hard for you. You reciprocated in kind. I loved you. I adored you. You stumbled. I stayed. I fought. You still ran scared. I have learned the truth, untended. Forms irrevocable. Curse fades to corners of bronchial to expire. A delusion of grace overwhelms the lungs' corridors. Unminded, it gushes back up. Thank you.
Excellent, thank you. And I do not think you read those last week. Do you have anything else coming up that you want to let people know about? Where can people find you on the internet? That's what they want to do.
I have a link tree where you can find everything. It is linktree /Phynne Belle. I also kind of started a new program of sorts. It's where like a podcast meets a poets roundtable. It's called Fincabularium. It's on Twitter Spaces, and Richie Marrufo, if he consents, is going to be part of the panel soon. So that's going to be wonderful. And so is Michael, if I can get that together, Michael and Generalissimo. So yeah, I look forward to it.
All right. All right. Who doesn't love a good pen, especially with judges like that? And our next reader loves to put little jokes that only me and Richie can see in our little Google spreadsheet. And I think that's not fair. So I'm going to share them all with you right now. His name for tonight only, at least, is Bubba Beluba. His performance will be tap dancing on bubble wrap. Pop, pop, pop. He's joining us from a Czech pickle factory, and wants us also to know that pickle juice is the new wheatgrass juice. What's the old pickle juice? What's the new pickle juice is my follow-up question. But anyway, you know him. I just had to share a little behind the scenes, but you know him well. Please welcome Bryan Franco to the stage. Bryan, when you're ready.
What is this music?
What was that?
Something. My Zoom is all of a sudden not responding. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. There's a bit of echo and.
Okay, it says my Zoom. Okay, my Zoom is graying out right now, and something is not responding. So hold on one second. I'm just to see if there's. I want to see if this music is coming from somewhere, but it doesn't seem to be. Okay, hold on. I'm sorry. Can you hear me better now?
We can hear you pretty clearly. Picture is totally grayed out, but
okay. Well,
oh, what a terrible time to lose you. What a terrible time for the sound to go out after I reassured you.
Okay, so
picture's back, sound is back. Okay, you're good now.
Okay, now we're good. Okay, well, let's see what we can read. The first poem I'm gonna read, since Michael read that wonderful piece about the Zoot Suit riots, I'm gonna read my piece about the Zoot Suit riots from Sandy Shakes. I mean, I'll tell you what, Sandy Shakes is unbelievable. I just think she's amazing. Okay, this has no title yet. It's as if they don't want you to have style, to dress as nice or nicer than them. You look slick in your zoot suits, the type of guy their girl might want to dance with, but your skin is not like theirs. It is tan without spending time in the sun. Somehow they managed to do away with one of yours and lay the blame on you. After all, where you come from, people should have dirt under their nails, not manicures. Where you come from, if you can afford a slick suit that elicits zoot, with whatever low-end job you have, how the hell can you afford such a suit with such a fancy shirt, with a shiny silk tie, with two-tone Oxfords? Somehow it was okay to turn your wardrobe to tatters. You will look unkempt and unshaven for the press. Your suit will not be zoot, but chimney sweep soot. Your shirt and tie will no longer be fancy or shiny. Your shoes will need a shine, but they cannot take away your determination to survive, or that you have eyes that tell the truth they want to bury. They can outlaw your zoot suits. They cannot prevent history from exhuming the shallow grave that contains your story. And because Phynne was reading from Emily's, I'm going to read some stuff from Emily's thing. The most foolish thing a person can believe in is the folly of love. The word lover is not a dirty word. To be a lover is less about carnal activity. It is more about listening and breathing the same air. It is about knowing the difference between listening and hearing. Two people can be lovers without ever touching, when they share emotions and accept faults, when they have a relieving laugh after a good cry. It is the moments, it is like the moments both the sun and moon exist in a sky together. To be a lover is about realizing no one is ever perfect, that imperfection is the definition of true beauty. Think of the sun as a piece of glitter. The sun always shines somewhere when the moon is present somewhere else. It is always night somewhere when the sun blazes somewhere else. Every star that exists in the mighty universe always sparkles in an atmosphere somewhere else in the universe. The vastness of everything visible from telescopes is only vast because we are able to realize our existences are tiny in comparison to other realities, and what is real to other beings we can only imagine exist, whose existences we have yet to confirm, is that our sun is but a sparkle in their sky. The last thing from Emily's thing is called Why Bookies and Fortune Tellers Exist. What others call luck, I call fate. What others call misfortune, I call fate. What is beyond our control, I call fate. When I dig in to achieve a goal, is that goal my fate? What others might call failure or success, I call fate. Failure and success are words we use to measure what fate decides for us at any given time in our lives, but life does not provide us with a wheel of fortune to spin where we can win a trip to the future or lose a turn. Then again, to believe in fate is proof in anyone's ability to believe in anything. And I'm just going to do this thing that I'm working on. It's poems under 21 words and under. And there's, I think, 9 of them. One, the first is a haiku, self-portrait. I painted myself with words and ink on paper to make poetry. 2, the art of agreeing to not disagree. I might agree with something I don't fully understand as long as I can understand what I'm agreeing with isn't disagreeable. 3, the pinnacle of knowledge. If I knew anything worth knowing, I would know what I knew was truly worth knowing. 4, infutility is not a real word. I spend so much time waiting. The time I don't spend waiting seems futile. 5, I think it's 5, respiration. Maybe if I just let myself breathe instead of holding my breath for no reason at all, I could breathe easily. 6, it ain't no chameleon. I attempted to incite karma, but karma can only happen when no one is aware. Stop doing the numbers. How many decibels is a dropping pin? Validation sounds like a simple sigh, a human generated gentle breeze of satisfaction, a nice, quietish, self-induced pat on the back. Whistle sniff. When drinking coffee on top of partaking in doctor-prescribed diuretics, one should try to be careful when choosing vegetables. Why some people hoard latex gloves. Sometimes you have to fist yourself to pull the right words out of your butt to say what's on your mind. And finally, the shopping list. Pineapple juice concentrate, white chocolate covered Dominoes, maple syrup marinated cigarettes, eyeglass lenses made from actual Coke bottle bottoms, and Velcro eyebrows. Thank you.
Caught me off guard with that glove one. That's not a way I'd like to be caught off guard now that I think about it. Oil check.
Well, it was totally figurative, Kit.
Okay. Nevertheless, it provoked images, which provoked thoughts. Bryan, thank you so much for sharing all those. Where can people find you on the internet if that's what they're inclined to do?
I am going to go ahead and pull up my information and put it in the chat. And my next Cafe Generalissimo is going to be in 2 weeks. So I guess that's somewhere around the 1st of September. On the 7th of September, I have a 10-minute feature. That's Wednesday the 7th. I have a 10-minute feature for Great Weather for Media, which I'm kind of really proud of. And then, of course, there's the New York Poetry Festival on Saturday the 10th. I'll be with Red or Green Books. on Sunday, the 11th, I will be reading for Q's Blue World. Thank you, everyone.
All right. Thank you very much. And you mentioned the New York Poetry Festival and someone else who I'm pretty sure is going to be attending because it's a short trip down the road from there to the swamps of Jersey, which is where our friend Nick Paleologos is stuck in the mud. So Nick, when you're ready, please step to the mic.
I don't know if I could step to the mic. I could move the mic closer to me. So I mean that's the thing. I can't physically.
However you negotiate this metaphor.
See, I got that. Yeah, it is. It is like a skip and a hop away, I guess you could say, or something like that. And I'm performing there on Saturday, so I'm doing like one at 11:30, and then I'm doing one at like an hour after that. So go figure me. I got to do it all in one day. It's gonna be fun. But yeah, great to be back here. Great to see you hosting, Kit. Great to see you again, Richie. I got two for y'all tonight. Since we're reading from Emily's workshop, I will also read from Emily's workshop too as well. I really like how this one came out. So here we go. I was baptized in the airy fire. Flip my script of light-switched mind to draw out my soul to earthly soil. Quick, use your intelligence. Your mind is tired. Your drive is hungry. You are hungry. Greedy for the next great piece of knowledge. Droplets of memories dance with your pages. I am the result of Frankenstein's creation. Ripped off the skin, unleashed layers of a racer mind lock. Are you mad? Are you mad at how I turned out? How I still exist? You need to understand what my story is before you confirm that I was never baptized in your waters, for I have channeled energy beyond your wildest dreams. I have breathed the ashes of the phoenix and spit out doves. So save that fact. I eat miracles for breakfast. Watch what you spit up to me. You shall not incinerate me. After all, I was baptized in the flames, and I walked out a man on a mission. I love how Richie just has a kitty right there. Don't think I didn't see that. I saw that. I saw that. Now, not quite like my adopted daughter, Poppy Paleologos. Love her. But, I adore that kitty too as well. So the second one is about my recent trip to Pittsburgh. It's ready to be shared. That's not even. Wow. I had the wrong poem up this whole time. That was from the slam I did that I won. That I finished in second, excuse me. That's the poem that I won. There we go. After midnight is usually when trouble rears through the steel curtain of the night sky. Not this day. I saw gleaming lights in the buildings stating, "You are home. Now come forth and witness beauty." I saw heaven in the next day. Quite the quiet city, clean as crystals themselves, clear like a beautiful sunset. Steel beams raised out of mountainside forests. Build bridges over the rivers we go. Witness a city both untouched by time and modernized, to see history in the making, to see the mysticism of villages under the guise of a city. I fell in love at first sight. My eyes cried stars into your canvas, unseen by the many, only by me. You immaculately recepted me, the three rivers. My heart fell in love with you. Remember this. Jersey, New York has my soul. But Pittsburgh always have my heart. Thank you. Oh, there's my adopted daughter right there. I love her so much.
Okay, to everyone watching on YouTube, he is talking about a cat. There is not some sort of family arrangement you did not know about. But Nick, what else? Nick, what else might the YouTube people not know about? What else do you have going on?
You can follow me at the Real Nick P on IG, Facebook, Nick Paleologos. You can catch my next Right to the Mic, which is this Wednesday at 8 o'clock EDT, 6 o'clock El Paso time. I am also going to be live in Newark, New Jersey. So if you're out in the Jersey area and you want to come see me, I'll be at QXT's performing out there. And also, I'm getting ready for the NYC Poetry Festival too, as well. It's going to be a very busy week and a lot of great people over there. I'll drop my info in the chat, and y'all just keep in touch with me. Thank you all. Appreciate it.
All right, thank you, Nick. And since we had a poem just full of references to Pittsburgh, and it's a luck of the spreadsheet type of coincidence that we happen to be going to Pittsburgh next, where the Allegheny meets the Ohio and the other third river that I can't think of right now. And we're going to talk with our friend Vayl Larkin. Vayl.
It is the Monongahela, the river.
Hey, I'm going to try really hard to remember that, but I'm not going to make promises.
Okay, and yes, Pittsburgh is basically 99 trench coats, 99 villages jammed into a trench coat. If you've ever been here, you understand. The entire character of the city changes every 25 feet. I'm going to read 3 pieces in honor of the fact that everyone else is reading in honor of Rushdie. I'm going to read in honor of Rushdie. This poem is called Eurydice, or Vina Descends, on the myth and the ground beneath her feet by Salman Rushdie. She is always in photographs, frozen, like she exists only in flashbulb memory, as an image, an idea, an ideal. His genius is lauded, and his vigor and his disdain. She is not permitted. She is loose and loud or cold, frigid and unforgiven. The same eyes see them into black and white avatars. He is Genesis, and she is Revelations, creation, and the deadly show. Her genius, her own genius shines in every word, glance, touch, and they acknowledge none of it. When she fell beneath the streets that raised her, beneath the earth she could never clean from her face, they stood bewildered as he followed her down. Order never should come after chaos, they cried. They would not see how he had only ever followed, planting, and ground she'd already broken. These next 2 pieces are kind of in honor of a lot of us have lost a lot of people in the past 2 or 3 years. And a lot of us are still losing people, and we're always losing people. People are always being lost, no matter the numbers. These are in honor of the people we are losing and one person in particular who is meaningful to one of the hosts here today. I am listening. I am listening for the voices of women, for the warm roundness of them, for their comfortable chuckles and the twitter of gangly girls like birds. I am listening for the sound of my friend's low, rosy alto, for the crackling laughter of my aunts on slow, grass-stained nights around the bonfire. I am listening for the tone only a mother can make, for the call and response of ladies in churches, for the soft sighs of lovers lost to time. I am listening for the broad polyphony of all the women's voices I have ever heard or imagined. The sweetest songs to me are your songs. In this last as a sequence, if I had a life philosophy or a philosophy about the afterlife, this would be it. Habitat. 1. In all her wanderings, she never found it. The blue, the great blue vastness. Born in the center and walking on foot, step after dry step, sand-slowed and scalded souls. In some spaces, deep in the desert, the heat made light liquid, tricky and wicked, and she was nearly submerged. She took great wading strides through delusion, damp and clinging to her skin, until the searing truth rematerialized. She swallowed it and searched on. 2. Lying on their back, their eyes lifted up, the green-gold chiaroscuro of the leaves and thinnest branches, like intricately stitched carpet for tiny souls with hollow bones and scant flesh. The universe inverts, and they are lifted, and they become airborne, hollow heart so light it need never submit itself to the ground. 3. We wander the home we long for, seeking delirium. But when we are silent, every word exhaled, every song, each longing sigh, our vitality cracked and ruddy clay, our spirits aloft, and our oceans of feeling soaked into the stones, we will, all of us, fall back on our foundations, into the earth, into the soft dark, into the warm, primeval caverns of our mother's body.
Wow, thank you so much for that, Vayl. Where else can the people find you? That's because I know they want more of that.
Yeah, I'm putting up my info in the chat, and you can find me on Twitter at Larkin Vayl or on IG at Vayl Larkin. And I'm about to start a new series of videos in my new space. And I'm looking forward to doing those. So keep an eye on my links for info about those.
All right. Always something to look forward to. Thank you so much, Vayl. And our next performer, we're coming back to the mothership, back to El Paso, and we are introducing the MVP of this mic, because they are also the MV Lee. It's fun to chant, and it's gender neutral. It's a real cool thing we're doing. So just remember to say MV Lee.
Thank you. Sorry. I have 2 poems to read. One is one is old-ish, the other one is new. So first, the old one. This is called The Things You Left Behind. I'll write the longest sigh spread across 2 years, starting from the moment of your departure and ongoing, unending. The hand is too tired, the ink has run dry, and the paper stares blankly at me with my fear and my exhaustion, my avoidance, rage, and denial. Of all the things to write about, raw subjects to exploit for validation, attention, I can't put down your name on this page. Let the world connect the empty spaces between these words and my hesitation. This is for you, about you, because of you. You who rests eternal, picture perfect, frame over walls, perched on the shelves and stuck in memories, now marred with the paper trail of mistakes you tried to hide away. For my benefit? For your benefit? These questions will go unanswered. No response left on your tongue made of ashes. and this hand will continue tapping, typing, inking away the doubt and anger. Escribiré el suspiro más largo distribuido en 2 años, justo a partir del momento de tu partida, continuo e interminable. Mi mano está demasiado cansada, la tinta se ha secado y el papel me mira en blanco, escudriñando mi miedo y cansancio, este estado de fuga, rabia y negación, de todas las cosas de las cuales pudiera escribir, temas crudos para explotar por validación, atención. ¿Por qué este? No puedo escribir tu nombre sobre estas páginas. Deja que el mundo conecte los espacios vacíos entre estas palabras y mis dudas. Esto es para ti, acerca de ti, gracias a ti. Tú, en tu descanso eterno, con tu imagen perfecta enmarcada sobre paredes, posado en los estantes y atrapado en los recuerdos, ahora estropeados con el rastro de tus errores que trataste de esconder para mi beneficio, tu beneficio. Esas preguntas seguirán sin respuesta alguna, no queda ya ninguna en tu lengua hecha cenizas, y por lo pronto seguirá esta mano tecleando, escribiendo, entintando mi duda e ira. Then this is the new stuff. I don't have a title for it. Quote unquote, you can't love someone if you can't love yourself. The voice of my mother reproached my obsessions, insisted I would die alone because intrinsically who I was enough to merit isolation, loneliness. My father, on the other hand, lamented my decisions, but kept his mouth shut, no questions asked, no advice given, nothing really. I could have used the word love, thrown my way more carelessly, let go without hesitation, unwavering, unconditional, reassuring. Instead, love was given as a prize to be earned, the unattainable trophy to add to a collection of nothing. My own voice slammed the doors of this flesh-turned prison. Change yourself, be anything else but yourself, hide yourself. I forwent myself in place of feeling someone else's affection, called it love because there was no other word for the harsh hands that touched and probed, scratched and choked. I couldn't love myself, so I let someone else do it for me. And I passed through different hands, learning the wrong lessons in the wrong languages at the hands of inexperienced mentors who had only learned to hate the likes of me, and called it love. And I loved myself the same way they did. And that's it.
I'm gonna steal Richie's line with his permission. That wasn't it. That was everything. Lee, where can the people find more of you? There we are.
On my screen, you can use my Instagram is @cadáveres_literarios, or my Facebook is Lee Martinez Soto.
Right. Thank you so much, Lee. It's good to hear you again. And coming up next, we're getting on the supersonic jet because we have to head to one of many islands. We're heading to Manila, Luzon, in the Philippines, and we are going to visit with our friend Larkin. 3 letters that pack a punch. Larkin, when you're ready.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Kit. Thank you, Richie, and everyone here. Maraming salamat. Isang anghang na umaga, a spicy morning to everyone. Name is Larkin, and I am from the Poetry Global Network. I'm based in the Philippines. So it's weird because I feel very spicy for the past few weeks. And I don't think I'll be mature today. So this is for a poet who has been smearing my name for years. So here we go. To my loving detractor, I appreciate your banter, a backbiter commentator of the poet you can never be. Sorry, I'm not lazy, like your rerouting mouth, pivoting to beg for attention but feigning confrontation behind your pedigree. Why don't you walk your poetry? You've grown passé of sins. Its obese loathing needs exercise. Be creative with a new material. Gagging yourself in a backstage, flipping a rehearsed rusty page that you've thrown too often, you become a one-trick pony. Bashing me on overused lines of your high horse excuse, being relevant in a scene that has only seen a shower of your lofty cliche. Why don't you try innovating your penchant pride on your bourgeois diploma? Halt your affluent side of idiocy, waiting for an opportunity to flash your privileges, privy of your quarter effort. Why don't you put your tattle against me in your jealousy to work on groundbreaking pieces, not your hackneyed has-beens? Come on, aren't you a poet too? Parlay me with a provoking thought, not just an afterthought. Aren't you tired being dull? Dry like a fast food chain wanting a Michelin star, serving cheap grease and a culture of bad habits. Break your monotony. Anything exciting has exited you. Usher me to more than just a gossip. Your coarse cackle with your equally pretentious friends. Your entitlement is too lonely. Pressing it on others like the chapter of harp work you can't print yourself. Has your lineage dried up already? Come on. So you borrow names as inks on the ones who are long dead, or the ones who are more alive than the saliva of defamation you proudly fake swallow when I ask you, what have you done to a poetry that you say is better than mine? Is that why you mime your libel? To label your collaborating finger when we see each other, you should just be an actor. Ha! You're good at playing someone on a TV that screams, like your hair, it's frizzy. Well, at least that is poetry. Lovingly mine, Lakat.
Someone's ears are burning.
I have a second piece, if it's okay.
Absolutely, go right ahead.
All right, so we can bring down the spiciness. Although I do love spicy coffee. This is called Beyond 8 a.m. Coffee lay still on the offer to fill itself. More than the lid can tip my jaw to quicken. The steps of fulfillment. Respect can also count the amount of effort to make a home from ground up. My mouth knows patience, like brewing every batch to catch the turn like a filter, like my hand, saying, no, I know when it's enough. Greed can burn the beans like an overbrew of a desire. Everything has a limit. I know the smoke intimately, like a lover is due to be loved with the right temperature. Temper can spoil the palate. I hold my finger on my lips like a secret, held like a pensieve to sieve. Love knows how to wait between moments of letting go of too much ego. The aroma will converse with you deeper than the scent of pride. Be humble when you listen to the water. Boiling better than an anger of an excuse to consume is to be consumed with the ignorance of an alibi. I don't get too excited beyond frustrations of drinking. Less is more. It's in the depth. Rest the heart. It'll come soon. It's just not ready yet. No matter how much I want it, I'll take my time to let it steep the steep bliss. Preparing coffee is an art I never rush to create. Restraint flows with compassion in a passion from stirring the pauses of respect on a process in finding out every sip is different. Every gulp is an experience, unique to a pouring memory, to a constant consistency found, being found in every cup of coffee. Thank you. Maraming salamat.
All right. Thank you, Lacan. And you mentioned the Poetry Global Network as well. Can you let people know what you have planned for the next few weeks?
Oh, wow. Well, after the Poetry Festival Singapore joint event, together with Moroccan poets, Let's Unmesh Life, and also Word Forward Singapore Writer Center, we are looking into two new things that we'll be going for, and we'll be you should watch out for that because it's going to be so exciting, and there will be a lot of poets that we'll be trying to bridge. So thank you. Maraming salamat. I love BWOMS. So yeah, thank you.
All right, we get back what we put in because we love all the people that come and populate our mics so consistently. And speaking of consistency, I know a fellow out in Washington, D.C. who rhymes persistently. His affectations have become contagious, and it really does get quite outrageous. But it's enough of me going on and gloaming because now it's time for Ed Forwards.
You rhyme with Sydney Sublime. I just love your chime. Let's give it a hand to Kit. He's always a smashing hit. Woo! Hello, my name is Ed Potastico. I feel fantastic. Please give me time to draw my rhyme for I feel sublime. I got one short poem and 3 poems, so it's not gonna take too long. This is called Open Up. When you open yourself up, you feel more happier and sunnier. You feel more energized than thunder. You feel more worries go under. You feel more peaceful with your blunders. When you cut me off, I feel more chaotic as a hurricane. I feel more razors in my brain. I feel more salt in my pains. I feel more heavier than chains. We've all been there. Do I need to explain? Send your demons and monsters down the drain. All right, thank you so much. I got another one for fun. This is called Drunken Fish. All right. Cause I got friends in low places where the whiskey drowns and the beer chases my blues away. And I'll be okay. I'm not big on social grace. You think I'll slip on down to the oasis? Oh, I got friends in low places. All right. Please drink responsibly before you hurt your man or sweetie. Please don't get pulled over by a roaring hangover. Please know your limit before reality hits. A cup of Henny to make me sing like Whitney. A cup of wine to make me feel fine. A cup of beer to put me into joyful tears. A cup of Guinness to put me in a stage of bliss. A cup of Blue Moon to turn me into a balloon. A cup of Bud Light to make me feel all right. A glass of Martini to make me feel like Bond, sweetie. A cup of Pina Colada to make me feel the beach drama. A glass of Grasshopper to make me feel like a show starter. A cup of Bloody Mary to make me feel like Dracula scary. A cup of lager to make me feel a bit hotter. A cup of ale to straighten my sail. A cup of Samuel Adams to, oh, that was random. A cup of porter to make me feel in order. A cup of strout to make me hungry for trout. A cup of mead to make me loose like weed. A cup of Angry Orchard to help me put 1 foot forward. A cup of Corona to make me sing my Sharona. A cup of Budweiser to make me get much higher. a couple of just Stuckies to make me feel at ease. If you don't drink, it's okay. Too much to drink, you can't think. Enjoy your days. I know what you're thinking. Yes, I drink them all. It was college. The bottles were singing. I was answering the call. I'm not a pushover. Oh God, here comes the hangovers. All right, got another one for fun. This is called Long Night. This is called Long Night. The lights are fading away, but the stars are dancing high. The shadows came out to play, the twinkle coming from our eyes. The quiet hugs our ears, the silence thicker than any knife. The shadows are near, another chime in the nightlife. The colorful strangers yearning for slumber, rubbing their sandy doors, bodies slowly moving like lumber, minds quietly yearning for their beds to restore. The nightly migration has begun. The concrete roads packed full of flashing lights and sounds. The beams were brighter than the sun, the ride of the mindless merry-go-round. The tiny bugs sing miniature notes, fireflies flashing their radiant glow. The small yet whimsical thunderbolts flying high, nice and slow. The blanket of chilling yet humid air, the smoky fog is everywhere. The sun is sleeping, I'm fully aware. The warming spiral has no warmth to spare or share. The vivid towers have signs of close. The darkness flooding the rooms and halls. The places to eat, I suppose, while the flames remain froze. Many different shadowy silhouettes dancing on the walls. Walking with me, myself, and I is the ghostly mind behind me. I see you in the corner of my eye, you copycat who flows fluently as the sea. My night commute has reached an end. I jiggle my wand to open my iron gate. Time to clean and hug my soft, fluffy friends. Turn off my lights. Let me dream for goodness sake. All right, I got one more for an encore. This is called Please Let Me Sleep. Do, 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 do. All right. All right. I'm a fish lost at sea, flying in a clear pond. I feel calm and free, swimming in the great beyond. And I hear loud, noisy bees. Oh no, things are gone wrong. I'm awake. Let me rest my head. Oh, my whole body aches. I wish I could still play dead. Construction. Oh, for goodness sake. My eyelids feel heavy as lead. Let me be the fish in the lake. Too much noise I completely dread. Going back to sleep isn't easy as cake. What time is it? Do I want to look ahead? Wow, awake at 5 a.m. on a Saturday. Why couldn't I be born a bear? I could just hibernate and get away, snooze away my worries or cares, rest in the cave from the sun's rays. Do you guys have anything better to do? I just want to snooze and dream. I grabbed some coffee. Oh no, my brew. Spilled coffee with a ton of cream. Doesn't anyone care what I'm going through? Are you guys digging for gold or oil? It's early, dark, bad morning. My mood is going to spoil. Oh, the birds are quickly singing. One jackhammer and some soil. My ears won't stop ringing. Oh, the noise has stopped. I can finally go to sleep. My stress went pop. Oh, sleep. Oh, what's that beep? Oh, my bags have teardrops. Please, life, no more peeps. Thank you.
All right, Ed. Thanks very much for all of that. And if there's anywhere else people can find you, can you show them where that's at?
Sure.
See, I'm getting better at this. I'm getting much better at this.
Hat to you. You're always a smashing hit. You're always literally educated every time you spit. If you want to follow me, please feel free. Please come to this open mic that makes everyone's Monday such a delight in the spotlight. But if you want to follow me, please feel free. My Facebook is Eddy Foreman and my IG is EddyForeman92. And remember, if the mic is right, I'll be there. Just trying to put us an insight. If you send me a question, you can take guess. The answer is yes. Hope everyone stay positive, safe, and blessed, and never stop spewing or singing the words outside of your chest, and never stop being and looking your best.
Well, words to live by and memorize, because he's memorized them, so why can't you? But we're going coast to coast now. We're going to leave our friend Eddy in the nation's capital, and we're going to Los Angeles in a quiet classroom where everyone's in their underwear because they're all having the same nightmare, and and their teacher is at the front, and it's Mr. Tezozomoc because class is in session.
Boy, what an intro, man. It sounds like I'm going to make everybody poop. Folks can follow me on Instagram under Gaseous 2019. I'm going to do a poem and a song, and then we'll catch up on the latest Kit. No pun intended. So this piece is titled Domesticating the Phenomenology of the Real. The term phenomenology means to let that which shows itself be seen from itself in the very way in which it shows itself from itself. That was Martin Heidegger. At the end of extracting the riprap of the imagination, the writing instructor will signal a new colonial project. Writing wild, the super hyped up voice rings in the continental cavernous hollows of your head. The writing sales pitch continues. You too can reconnect with the natural world, shape the minds of the readers and writers. You will shape perspectives of the wild and the wilderness of the imagination. When the natural resources of your mind come to a full stop, the marketing minions continue, quote, we'll look at how coming to a full stop influences your connection with nature and opens up your awareness, diving deeply into new transatlantic realms of imperial imagination, unquote. Unfortunately, the racialized nature of imperialism masks the white man's burden, bringing nature to the darker corners of dark-skinned, epidermalized colonial minds, setting for itself the revitalization of the wild via the spread of markets, adversarial democracy, human rights that are inaccessible while the subject is human, only attainable at the point of total animalization and the empty signifier of hyper-individualized liberty. The wild must be beyond monotony of association and substitution, beyond the analogical metaphor. The primordial birth of nature, in some sense, must be beyond the origin of symbolic order, not represented in language when it attains its subjectivity. Nature is beyond the end of temporal sequence, more than a biological moment, somewhere in a finite relation to the future and the past of anticipated memory. Nature escapes the geometrical gimmicks of the torus representing demand and desire, the Mobius strip metaphor of relation between subject and speech, the cross-cap structure of fantasy where we find the subject's relation to nature. Avoid the naive realism of the wild, the discursive construction, the extractive production of the symbolic order. To merely render the wild as symbolic order, certain theories of extractive social construction, the reductive return to positive empirical, biological, genetic, and endocrinological accounts of consciousness, behavior, sexuality, to shift from the formative power of representation and escape its limits. The prescribed modern means of reconnecting to the wild wilderness has always involved extraordinary violence, reaching the level of genocide. The violence of the text as collection of cultural images, themes by which colonized nature comes to be known by the colonial imaginary power. The alterity, the state of being different, is always subordinate to the form of colonial subject of being known by the colonizer, simultaneously enforced and rationalized to a racial dimension. The racial discourse of reconnecting with the wild and nature demonstrates how the language of the colonizer organizes to prove the subordinate status of colonized nature. Thus, how to collapse the paradox of the wild. As the wild enters the semiotic, it ceases to be wild, rendering it mere symbolic representation. The disalienation of the writer is to recognize the exclusionary category of human, as well to remain in immanence to nature, avoid the repressive universalism as an expression of the core exploitation of nature at the periphery, which excludes the writer from its conception of universality. And peace. All right. We always have the carrot or the stick paradox. Which one will it be? All right, let's jump into this ditty here. Fair and lovely Annie, your gentle ways have won me. You bring peace and joy and laughter everywhere. Where you go, the sunshine follow. You're a breath of spring in winter, and my heart and soul are always in your care. Gentle Annie, gentle Annie, and my heart and soul are always in your care. When you touch me with your finger, my cares and worries vanish like the morning dew before the rising sun. When your eyes tell me you love me, and my soul is filled with wonder, and my love for you will live when life is done. Gentle Annie, gentle Annie, and my love for you will live when birds' song in the morning. You're the laughter of the children at their play. You're my hope and joy and wisdom. You're my reason, child, for living. You're my treasure. You're my very night and day. Gentle Annie, gentle Annie, you're my treasure, you're my very night and day. When the mountains all come tumbling and the earth has stopped its turning, when the wind don't blow and stars refuse to shine, when the moon has left the heavens, when the seven seas are red, I will still have gentle Annie on my mind. Gentle Annie, gentle Annie, I will still have gentle Annie on my mind. End song.
Okay, that was more stick than carrot, but it was definitely both.
Oh, thanks, kid. So I just wanted to share that I did win a poetry slam, but in Spanish, and I did it with my I'm Not Your Chihuahua poems. That was interesting. I'm supposed to go back for the next round and see if I survive.
Well, you can find anyone laying odds on Los Angeles area poetry slams at the mortgage payment on our friend Tezozomoc.
That was in Chicago, actually.
Oh, in Chicago. All right. Well done.
Yeah. All right, folks. Thank you.
Thank you, Tezozomoc. And a little while ago, I put in the chat an open a call for open spots because we do have some room, and I'm very happy that a couple people took me up on that. And first among those people is someone who I believe is completely new to this stage. She's currently located in Berkeley, California, and her name is Marisa Lin. She's going to read a poem, maybe two, to us. Marisa, great to meet you.
Hi, great to be here. Thank you for having me in the space, and also thank you to Tezozomoc for telling me about the space and inviting me here. So yeah, very happy to be here. I think I'll read two poems tonight. This first poem was inspired by just my relationship with my mom. It's called Someday I'll Love Your Grave. Every tragedy has its arms around somebody's daughter. You must believe me that when you're gone, I will gaze at my bedroom ceiling and pretend there are glow-in-the-dark stars beckoning you home, billowing your molecules back to dusty soil. like your life. I promise nothing. Not to dwell on your words, your accusing eyes, phrases you shot hot down my neck, or to recall your footsteps descending the basement stairs, the sound of their oncoming darkness. Rather, I will keep your every name for love strapped to my chest, as if to drown in. Remember the book you flung at my feet, what you said. After that, a day passed before I could look you in the eye, act as if forgiveness was just another pill to take before 9. I should apologize. Yesterday, as I walked in the frizz of dusk, your memory became a hole, begging to be filled by its own flesh. It was then that I wanted to reach my hand in, pull out your wounds to see what made me, but all I found was tofu, ginger, chrysanthemum tea, followed by pizza, fish sticks, dinosaur, chicken nuggets. How your offerings attempted the same password, which I changed again and again, and you couldn't guess it, though you were relentless. It doesn't matter now. When it's all over, will you tell me that you wept for us, that we were more than bone, pressing into bone? So that was my first poem.
Woo!
This next one is actually, it's funny. It's going to be about my dad. I'm currently in California, but I grew up in Minnesota, and I recently visited there to visit my parents. And so this was describing a moment with my dad. Lock and Dam, number 5. Dad, your eyes are crescent moons smiling. Your jacket, feathery green like a meadow in a starlit dome, and the clouds, well, there are too many cotton balls to count, detaching and reattaching like furry creatures I once knew in a dream. That was nights ago. Today, the only thing that matters is how the water pretends to be sky, the dam, a finger shushing the Mississippi, the river, a floor, birds gallop their beaks across. Only here can a flock of pelicans be mistaken for a kite's tail, their blocky bodies forming a string tasseling up and down with the wind. We laugh. As if to cover our unutterable awe, we snap photos of brown channeling across blue, waves slurping the wall like dogs' tongues. How magnificent, I think. Our American family, rattling Mandarin to English on the Minnesota-Wisconsin border, laying our eyes and lens on River Bluff land. Sometimes when I sleep, I feel my bones asking to be buried here, their minerals flushing the landscape. Listen, Dad. For one day, as brilliant as your mind, my body would dissolve its house of dust, that I may touch your joy through nature's lungs. Wind sweep my head upon your chest. Let my breeze breath soften into yours. Thank you.
Woo! Thank you. We've been doing this for 2 years and we still find new people. And there's something we do for new people, and Nick's going to lead us in it.
One of us. One of us.
One of us.
That's a you've been accepted yell.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Thank
That
you.
is exactly what that means. That's right. Marisa, where can people find you on socials, Instagram, what have you, if they want to hear more from you, know what you're up to?
I'm on Instagram at Marisa Writes. So my first name and then writes, as in writes a poem.
All right. Name then verb seems to be a popular way of doing things. Once again, thank you so much for showing up, and I hope this isn't the last time. And someone else who took me up on the offered open spots. In contrast, this is someone who we're very familiar with. They have their book out and they're very happy about that. And they are, of course, Miss Terri Rose up in New Jersey. Terri, how are you?
I am good. Terri Rose Jertson, though, because we have to add that my married name on there.
Okay, if we have to, then we will. Terri Rose
Yes, we
Jertson.
do.
There you go.
We must. Okay, so if I would have got to read on the other open mic that was before this one tonight, I would have read this poem because this is probably my favorite piece that I wrote, and that was the theme. So I'm going to read it. First crush. What do you do when your first crush, JS, is also the obsession of your best friend? Talk her out of it, of course. But for 8 years of Catholic school, I suffered in silence. When could I confess? I sat there every day in class, burning with passion for him to at least turn around and look at me. If he didn't, I swear I was going to burst inside my shaking prepubescent body. How could I be such a masochist for being in this unrequited love for this long? How unsatisfying. Maybe that's why I settled for JB, who had a bunch of rings, one for every finger. I wanted them all. He wanted them returned when his real love wanted them back. I knew that crush was doomed. He did have a beautiful head of flippy brown silky hair and equally beautiful eyes with lashes that were longer than mine. The crooked teeth in the front grill made him more endearing. He did crush my spirit, but he could never know that when he broke it off. But this did allow me to refocus on my first object of worship from afar, where my heart would be safe. So when JS was nominated to play the part of the star in our passion play, it was perfect. He got the role in succession of his brothers. They were first and second choice, and he was the third. It had to be difficult to be last picked, but he was probably used to that after 8 years of it. And those brothers were easy on the eyes. Flashback to kindergarten when I first laid eyes on him. He had a bunch of his friends were laughing uncontrollably at his antics of JS actually putting his shoe while his foot was still in it in his mouth. Even then, I was too sophisticated for this bunch. I felt my eyes rolling at the tender age of 5. Forward to the teenage years, gawky bodies, caved-in chests, uncoordination, burning red faces. How could he not notice me? But as we matured, we got better looking, less pimply, more muscular, more curves. Still, there was nothing I could do to get this dunce's attention. Every day, I felt my laser beam eyes burning a virtual hole in the back of his clueless head. I surprised myself by not imploding or exploding. After the play was over, I would sit outside the church. I would sit there pathetically, patiently waiting to be discovered. The cold concrete steps cooling off my lower regions. I would ruminate over love being nailed to the cross, figuratively. My Jesus. Those burning hot summer parochial school nights leaving me awkwardly rejected, but still wanting more. that has so much in there. I love that piece. And this one's pretty good too, and it's not as long, so I'm just going to pop it in there. Snow days, but days is D-A-Z-E. Snow days were great because the kids would be off school. We would bundle up with scarves, mittens, hats, snowball fights, sledding, forts outside all day, frozen noses, blue lips, frost-bitten fingers, rosy cheeks, snow angels, snowmen, I backed up. Hang on. After frostbitten fingers, it was supposed to be, which hurt when we came inside. Another time when there were no video games, social media, cell phones, little technology, kids would come in and watch TV. We watched Bewitched, Brady Bunch, Dark Shadows, and our babysitter would watch her stories. After we would have after we would have soup and a sandwich and be tossed outside again. If we had come in too many times, we were asking for trouble. If we were punished, we had to sit and pray to Jesus for forgiveness, forced to stare at a statue of his head crowned with thorns which dripped blood, and the expression of excruciating agony mixed with euphoria scared me into obedience. This is just my childhood. And this is my book that's behind me and now in front of me, and it's for sale, 15 and plus shipping. And you can get me on private message me on Instagram. And my Instagram handle is ifunnies mom, spelled I can't spell either, IFUNNIEZ mom. And on Facebook with my name, Teresa Rose Jurtsen. I have Cash App and PayPal.
All right. And those of us in the Zoom could see Phynne holding up her copy.
Oh,
so
I'm on Spotlight, so I can't see that. Yeah. But thank you. Thanks, everybody who already have purchased the book.
All right. Well, thank you, Terri Rose Jurtsen, for reading with us. And I like getting to ease the workload on Richie. I like getting to substitute hosts like this, especially for the moments of role reversal it affords me, because usually it's him introducing me. But this one time, it's me introducing him. Ladies, gentlemen, and everyone else, first, the founder of the Stay at Home Mic has been running BWOMS for almost 10 years, all over the city. He's the hardest working man on the border. Please welcome Richie Marrufo.
Yo, what's going on? Yeah, a very uncommon role reversal there. Shout out to everyone who's read so far. Welcome, Marisa. Glad having you. Welcome back anytime. All right, so I have 2 cover poems and then an original. It's great to be here. Yeah, awesome. Thank you, Kit. Let me see. Let me open these. All right. These are kind of all recent cover poems, too, or poems that I'm going to cover. This one's called, or it's by the poet Lauren Elaine. You can find it on ports.org. It's How Could I Have Known I Would Need to Remember Your Laughter? How could I have known I would need to remember your laughter? The way it ricocheted, a boomerang flung from your throat, stilling the breathless air. How you were luminous in it, your smile, your hair tossed back, flaming, everyone around you aglow. How I wanted to live in it, those times it ignited us into giggles, doubling us over, aching and unmoored for precious minutes from our twin scars, the thorn secrets of our tongues learned too well to carry. It is impossible to imagine you gone, dear one, your laugh lost to some silence I can't breach, from which you will not return. All right, there's that one. I'll link these 2 just so you guys can have access to those. This one's from Joshua Jennifer Espinosa, The Sunset and the Purple Flowered Tree. I talk to a screen who assures me everything is fine. I am not broken. I am not depressed. I am simply in touch with the material conditions of my life. It is the end of the world, and it's fine. People laugh about this self-soothing engine sputtering through a nosedive. Not me. I've gone and lost my sense of humor when I need it most. This is why I speak smoke into a scene. I dance against language and abandon verse halfway through, like a broken-throated singer. I wander around the front yard, pathless as a little ant at the tip of a curled-up cactus. Birds flit in and out of shining branches. A garden blooms large in my throat. Color and life conspire against my idea of the world. If I have to laugh until I am crying, make an ocean to land upon in this sea of flames. Here I am, another late winter afternoon, the sunset and the purple flower tree trying their best to keep me alive. All right, so those are quick pieces. Just I've been saving pieces that I've been wanting to read out loud. This one's one of mine. It's more of a descent into chaos, similar to these, and trying to find redemption. Beautiful dreamer. 4 a.m. Intoxicated buzz of frenzy and fury. Spray paint coats the air of this bohemian underbelly, bridged between star and Ekis. Is this it? There are a lot of substances swimming in here. Two-way drunken texts spill out in the shape of smoke signals. Beatbox in my head. Hummingbird in my heart. I tried the coffee spoons, but the other stuff was so much more alluring. Love has very well taught me the actions of fools. See, I'm glued to this chair, but the sky is calling me. I want to serenade the past and caress the rhyme of tomorrow as chills recollect static from the space of in-betweenness, space for peace, at least for lease. Familia. Fleck away from the splatter of fragile hues and dark matter to the clash and clatter of me's and you's. Guess who? Hopscotch to the scotch on the rocks. Leave your socks at the door. This is the dance floor of your dream-skilled familial moon that led to swings in June, or a year-long build-up of a tune of a broom. Then there was you. Fortune and frenzy, flame and fury, turntable turbulence, burn the beat, the jump in the jukebox, in supreme screen scene of tactile tectonics. It's a sonic boombox to rock your socks, stomp your feet to the Scafe con Pan melody. Jump in on your jealousy, it's a jigsaw jive to the shindig jig you dig. I'll spread out like dirt. And through the hurt and sandstorm form of white sand energies, we'll see a new sense of urgency. It is through illuminated glass the spiraled truth reveals itself. Es muss sein. It must be Kandinsky, moon dancer, you, firecracker anthem. I nod my head to the beat that echoes in the wake of your footsteps. Heartbeat, lively pulsations, and pithy meanderings. Sleepwalker with a tempered glance of steel and roses. Lullaby of the world. Lullaby of the world. It's going to take a lot more than hope to get us home, a lot more love than show us pain, or hate to slow us down in battle of heart versus brain. Our walk is the climb of a reckless dancer, each step improvised a bit more than the last. Will we still love each other in the end? Even Orpheus looked back. Only the mad ones know what delights are swimming inside that beautiful mind of yours, and we'll slow dance away from trouble. All right. That's my madness, and actually I'm going to read a new one that I wrote this weekend. It's actually
New
kind of
shit?
short. New shit, yeah, it's super short. I want to experience you in slow motion, to better understand the flutter of your smile as it unfolds into a mercy I've only known to see take flight for better men. That's it. Coming, I'm done. Thank you guys. Peace.
Thank you, Richie. Always a treat. Always an absolute treat to get to hear you instead of having you do the administrative thing that you're also quite good at. But we're coming to the very end of yet another in an endless chain of wonderful Monday nights spent on Zoom with you folks. And there's only one way that we know how to end these. There's only one way that we can end these. We're going to get on the bullpen phone. And we're going to call for the old right-hander. Bring us home. Dan the man. Please step to the mic.
Hello? Hello?
Hello.
Hold on a second.
We got you.
Nice shirt.
Thank you. because I graduated from there. It's been more than 10 years now. Yeah. Okay, it looks like there's there's gonna be some cover poems. One of them's new shit. Yeah, you know what I mean. And one's the other. Hey, wait a minute. Where's my new shit chant?
You did it yourself. You did it before we could.
New shit.
Thank you. Thank you. All right. Okay. This one's from The Voices, an anthology of poems and pictures, the first book, edited by Jeffrey Summerfield, and it was published, dated back from, let's see here, from, damn, back in the 50s. Oh, yeah, some of those back in the 50s, but man, back in the late 60s. Yikes. Okay. Well, here's one of them I like. Okay. Here's one of them. Okay. It's called Magic Song to be Recited When in Sudden Danger. You earth, our great earth, COC, all these heap of bleaches, bones, and wind-dried skeletons. They crumbled in the air, the mighty world's air. Bleached bones, wind-dried skeletons crumble in the air. Hey, hey, hey. And it says anonymous, translated from the Eskimo by Peter Foshen. Okay. Here's this next one. Chant before battle. Let the fog fills the skies. Let the cloud cover them. The wind howls high up to the world's away down. Listen, the wind howls from far away down. Shuddering the spears is charging, is flying. The wind-bladed sharks and the footsteps hurtling. Oh, furious the footsteps, blood wet the footsteps. Bound for the world's brink, he goes, God of battles, the stars in his stride, and the moon in his stride. Run, run from the death blow. Okay. It says anonymous, translated from the Mori by Alan Conroe and Roger Oppenheim. And okay. Okay, here's one more. Life in Motion. Okay. In Oklahoma, Bonnie and Josie, dressed in calico, dance around the stump. They cried, oh, oh ho, yahoo, oh ho, celebrating the marriage of flesh and air. Written by Wallace Stevens, end quote. Yeah. So these is the Voices, an anthology of poems and pictures of the first book edited by Gregory Summerfield. It's Voices, the first book, pronounced back in the late 60s. It's been published, and yeah, there it is. Voices. Okay. All right. And I got one more. Once again from thebordercensus.com, spring 2006, volume 11. Okay. Okay. Summer by Mr. Ondiant. Mr. Ondiant. Mr. Ondi. Hey, Richie, how do you pronounce this one? Mr. Ondiant? Have you heard of this guy, or this person, Mr. Ondiant?
Go for it, man. You just go for it. Yeah.
I was just asking. This
For
is
sure.
only like. I was just asking. This is this writer who wrote this one, Mr. Ondiant. It's like one word. It's Misteradiant. It's only one word, not two words. Never
right.
heard of him?
Just go ahead with the piece, man.
Okay. It's called Summer, page 30. When the summer stalls the dream of men and women from childbirth, breeding lust to the ancient greed, we need to fear and stop. They said so. The new novels come slowly with the hypocrisy of everything surrounding me, suffocating all false things into one diamond cutting diamonds, quoting Bin Laden and dreams. When I was 5, the summer fantasy of boys for girls chasing trees, no grass and kiss to possess, my need to be loved. Words are becoming clear and important again, purposeful to start a new religion, death of martyrdom. For those who suicide came sticky and alone, smellful stench of loss for nothing. Mine will be glorious and still sticky, all over you in red with acid tracers, bling bling, and you will weep if I have my way, because you will know, understanding the hypocrisy in idolatry, Jesus will extend his golden hand that I might cut it off and make it the symbol for truth. And quote, that's Summer, page 30, Mr. Rondiance from the bordercensus.com, page spring 2006, number 11. I think I did not expect that. I apologize. Oh, crap. I guess I'll have to disregard that one. Crap. All right. Okay. As soon as possible, I'm gonna read a couple of first few pages of Words of Love, Piropos, Romantic Sayings from Mexico by Carla Zaretska, illustrated by Roman Andrade. Oh, I think this is nice. It's posted back a decade ago, but I'll get to this another time. So guys, just be aware of this. It's beautiful. Okay, and guys, next Thursday, I will mark 8 years of my blog. So, I just came a long way. All right. Okay. Oh yeah, and happy birthday, David Ochoa. Dallas David Ochoa is a singer, songwriter from Las Cruces. Happy birthday, Dallas. And oh yeah, Marisa, I like the tofu, but you know what it reminds me of? Kele tofu. Oh, yo. Kele tofu. Oh, Kele tofu. Yeah, that reminds me. It was back from 3 decades ago. It was this TV series, Doug, Nickelodeon. It was a Nickelodeon cartoon, and that's where they fictional characters called the fictional band called the Beats. That was nice. Kele tofu. Yeah. All right.
You can never quite tell what you're going to get with him. You might think you know, but that's when he really wrong puts you.
Yeah. Okay.
Read it and weep it.
Yep. Okay, here it is. My Twitter. Behind post on Twitter and Facebook. I'll have it uploaded ASAP. And well, I'm posting something special on Facebook, but it's only a couple of them. So yeah, and again, I'm behind posts on Twitter. I apologize, but catch up on it. I'm still catching up on Instagram. But find Dan the Man's Weekly on YouTube. Subscribe to my channel. Okay. Marisa, screenshot this, please. Okay, I guess that is it. Well, I will see you next Monday, as I'm about to I'm about to come up with the poetry of my upcoming 8-year anniversary, and can't wait. All right, Kit, thank you very much for hosting this again. I'm hoping one day in the future, I like to guest host this one. So one day. All right, back to you, Richie, and I'm sorry, back to you, Kit, and tell Richie let's call it a night.
See, I don't know why you want to host when you can already boss us around from here. You have the real power. You need to think about this more clearly. But friends, once again, it's been another great session of the stay-at-home open mic. We've made new friends and deepened our old friendships, and we will see you once again next week. Just in case this is your first show, this is how you can find me. Instagram Kit Wren Away, Twitter Kit Dog Sports. I got a Goodreads where I read what I find. I got a bunch of essays about American football. I have a Facebook, and I have an email and a PayPal, which goes to the email. We are still going to hang out in the Zoom in what we've come to call the after party. If you want in, let your friends know. But this is going to be the end of the stream. Thanks to everyone who's watching and who bared with us through the small technical hiccups at the beginning. And I'll let, if Richie has any closing comments, I'll let him make them now.
All right. Yo, what is up, Kit? Let's go ahead and do that. Yeah, all right. Yeah, appreciate that so much, Kit. Thanks again, as always, everyone who read. So because of that slight hiccup, we didn't go live on the BWOMS YouTube channel. We accidentally went live on my personal one, which I don't really use. But hey, if you're there, you might as well subscribe. You know what I'm saying? But what I'm going to do is, and I've been doing this for a while, I always have backup recordings of these sessions. So what I'll do is as soon as we're done with the after party, it usually takes overnight for everything to download. But I'll probably upload the recording on the BWOMS YouTube channel so we can have access to it later on and continue our tradition of having archives. So again, check out our YouTube channel if you haven't already, Barbed Wire Open Mic. And there you can find archives of all our past shows, which have been generously time-stamped thanks to Kit. And so I'll add this show as well. The live stream, I don't know, I'll probably keep on my channel just to have. But if you're watching this on the YouTube channel, then great, mission accomplished. And also thank you for sticking around to the very end of the show. We will see you. We're here every Monday. If you want to be kept up to date and just sign up early, just follow us on social media, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, even our YouTube channel. Make sure to click subscribe. And yeah, we'll see you next time.